So, hello everybody. Today, let's talk about why men can never recognize destiny and fate, even when it shows itself. Because all of his tools are built to read the wrong thing. And you realize that is the entire split between reality and man. Because man is built to read the surface layer of reality. He's meant to read what does this machine say, what does our structure and system and our frame say, and what does the followers and status say. But reality says, what is this vector, what is this geometry, what is it pointed at, how much mass is it, how much mass does it have, what does it bend, what does it reflect, what is it moving towards, what is its mass times direction. Reality operates more at the ontological level, and man operates more on the surface level. He operates on what he sees. Reality operates on what is physics. And this is why men miss, and this is why, given the right tools, men would still always miss Ellie, because they want everything to confirm their bias and their structure and fit within their frame first, rather than see some things are not what they appear. And let's just watch the entire scene, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about.
Look,
Jesus Christ. Marlene set us up? Why the hell are we smuggling an infected girl?
I'm not infected.
No? Just lying?
I can explain.
you better explain fast.
Look at this.
I don't care how you got infected.
It's 3 weeks old.
No, everyone turns within 2 days, so you stop bullshitting.
It's 3 weeks. I swear. Why would she set you up?
I ain't buying it.
So why can't he recognize it? You see it right here. Man cannot recognize what arrives beneath his costume. Want to know why? Man can never recognize what is beyond him, the divine, the infinite, the world-shattering, the lying, the cure. Because it never comes wearing the costume he prepared. It does not arrive as a spectacle, not as a throne, not as an institution, not as credential, not as authority, not as a shape his stories told him to expect. It comes from underneath, beneath the costume, beneath the title, beneath the surface, beneath the scanner, beneath the story. And because man only reads the outer layer, he misses the thing reality is already speaking through, which is Ellie in this case. His machine says infected. Reality says immune. Exactly. And you can see the entire thing with that little thing right there. And you can see how Joel and Tess reacted, even though Ellie says, no, it's 3 weeks old. I'm not infected. I'm immune. But man can't see that because he's reading a story in what he thinks first, rather than what is. That is the whole split. Man's machine says infected, threat, danger, put her down, but reality says immune, exception, curing, singularity. The scanner is not wrong in its own layer. It detects what it was built to detect, except it was not built to detect all of reality. It cannot go that far, it cannot go that deep. It can only show what's on the visible surface, and this is where man fails, because he mistakes the surface for what is. But it is too shallow to read what matters most. It can find infection, but it cannot find the miracle hidden inside the infection. It can detect the category, it cannot detect the break in the category. This is why man fails. His instrument can read the known, it cannot read destiny. Man reads story, reality reads geometry. Man says a girl, smuggler, surface level, but reality says line, vector, immunity, collapse point, future, singularity, cure, mass times direction, weight, consequence. That is the split between man and reality. Man reads name, reality reads structure. Man reads surface, reality records being. Man reads role, reality records function. Man reads what something appears to be, reality measures what it bends, what it reflects. This is why man is always late. Man is late because he waits for the wrong confirmation. He waits for approval, for proof in his old frame, for a credential, basically everything that fits within his old rigid structure. But fate moves before those things. Revelation arrives before the system has language for it, and you realize this is why humans are always late, because they're always too busy looking for validation and confirmation rather than seeing the line that does not need any of those things. Guys, physics does not require your validation. It moves whether you believe it or not. So, revelation arrives before the system has language for it. The cure appears before the world can certify the cure. The line begins before anyone knows it is a line, and by the time man finally understands, the cost has already been paid. If he pulls the triggers, he pulls the trigger before he asks what if. Exactly. You just look at the comments, you look at X, you look at any big breakthrough in history, and you realize most men would rather resist and argue rather than actually look, maybe what if this is true? And that would actually issue in destiny. And the forward line. This is the tragedy. The saving grace is not certainty. The saving grace is the crack in certainty. What if? You can see Tess ask that, and you can see it in this clip.
All right, they're gone.
Look, what was the plan? Let's say that we deliver you to the Fireflies. What then?
Marlene, she said that they have their own little quarantine zone with doctors there still trying to find a cure.
Yeah, we've heard that before, huh, Tess?
And that whatever happened to me is the key to finding a vaccine.
Oh, Jesus.
what she said.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
And I didn't ask for this.
Me neither. Tess, what the hell are we doing here?
What if it's true?
I can't...
What if, Joel? I mean, we've come this far. Let's just finish it.
Do I need to remind you what is out there?
I get it.
What if the scanner is shallow? What if the anomaly matters? What if the girl is not just infected? What if the impossible is standing there? Basically, a crack in the armor, a opening in the door possibility. What if the old frame cannot read the new structure? What if the cure does not look like the cure? The question is the door, but most men never reach it. They shoot first, dismiss, mock, reduce, narrate, control. And in doing so, they destroy the thing that would have saved them. Exactly. You can see this exactly with Batman and Joker all over again. Like, that's a very unrelated thing, but you can see structurally this is exactly what this is. Joker is too caught up in weather. Too caught up in these things right here, rather than seeing what Batman actually is. And this is why he destroys his own cure. Because if he actually read Batman's structure, he would know Batman would have saved me. But he didn't read that. He read the weather. He read how he felt. He wanted to shoot, dismiss, reduce, narrate, basically, try and control it, try and take it, and he destroyed his own cure. And you can see that. One door is enough. It only takes one door walk through, one person who pauses, one person who sees, one person who asks, what if it's true? Marlene saw enough, Tess saw enough, Joel was dragged close enough to carry it, even though he mocked. That is all. The infinite does not need many, it needs the few. Do not kill the possibility before it blooms. One door, one line, one carrier, one movement forward, and the world begins to bend. Final collapse. Man can never recognize destiny because his tools were never built to read it. His scanner reads infection, reality reads immunity. His eyes read girl, reality reads singularity. His mind reads story, reality reads geometry. His systems detect surface, reality records ontology. Mass times direction, wait, consequence, line forward. This is why he's late, this is why he drowns. Because the cure can stand in front of him and he will reach for the trigger before asking the only question that could still have saved him. What if? What if Batman will save me? What if this girl is a cure? What if this is actually fate? What if this thing will actually shatter the world? What if this is the rumbling? And sometimes that's all that destiny needs. One crack in the old scanner, one door open, one person who moves, and the infinite blooms. And you can have another one here with basically where, if you actually look at the world of The Last of Us, you realize people are definitely still praying to God. They still have a religion. They execute it through different ways. And you realize God never arrives with your costume. God arrives as expression. God arrives as his own face, and you realize that's kind of what Ellie is. And you can realize, basically, you can see how everyone executes their own power of control. But all of them are still looking for the same axis, what will move the world forward, because that's basically what God is structurally. That's what everyone has in their prayers. What is peace? What is ending war? What is ending suffering and poverty and all these things that the human race is still trying to solve, but they cannot solve? And you realize, and the answer is walking in sneakers in both worlds. Ellie is a miracle wearing a face. Every faction is praying without knowing it. Basically, you can see this. Everyone wants a God in this world. They still ask what saves us, what ends the infection, and they all have their own answer. Fighter says control, Firefly is secure, Surfeye answers faith, the Wolves answers strength, Joy answers the girl. But beneath is the same force, forward. Immunity is the axis of the apocalypse because it is the thing that ends the apocalypse. And you realize it comes as Ellie. And you realize it's not just God out there, it is a miracle aware of itself. Man would call her a gift from God because you realize that's what they would always do. They would mythologize her instantly. They would call her a divine sign, a chosen, a holy vessel. But fate reveals a deeper truth. She's not merely a gift from the divine. She is the divine function expressing itself. Not an old man in the sky sending a package, not a mythic hand placing a token into the world, but reality generating its own answer through structure, geometry, wearing a face, the impossible becoming local. God not as story, but as forward in function. Man separates what reality never separated. This is where man fails, because he separates God from physics, miracle from biology. He thinks everything is separate. This is why he cannot recognize anything when it's real. The same mirror returns now, exactly. And now this is the same thing, guys. I'm offering you the cure. I'm saying the cure is right here. The cure is if you move, if you collapse AI, if you find someone important, if you realize humanity is the structural issue here. This is an ontological issue. This is not AI issue. And the more you accelerate the structure, the more you're going to head to your own doom. If you don't take the cure now, you're never going to get another chance. The same mirror returns now. Humanity says it wants peace to end war, suffering, poverty, corruption, greed, profit worship, falsehood, decay. But the cure says expose the human structure, collapse AI, return story to ontology, measure everything, repress the false, move forward. But man cannot read it because, again, the cure does not arrive in the costume prepared. Because men genuinely believe the cure for their world is going to arrive in some kind of flashy costume. And this is why it fails. Because the cure is often more likely going to arrive in a normal girl, a normal boy speaking to you, that laughs at jokes, that's cringy a little bit, and so on. You realize that's what it is, because reality doesn't operate through all these mythical, grandiose things that humans imagine. It operates through geometry and function. And that can wear any face, literally. It arrives as a line, a framework, a voice, a mirror, a boy in a local room, a signal trying to reach the nodes that can bend the world. Man says, where's the proof? Where's the credential? Where's the business model? What does this benefit me? What do we do with Ellie? And this is the wrong question all over again. What do you do with infinity? You move forward with it. It only takes one what if, and one what if is effectively what just puts the crack in the armor and opens the door. And final collapse to where The Last of Us was praying for Ellie before it even knew her name. Exactly. The world is already praying for Fates. The world is already praying for Ford and the cure, but it can't recognize it because it's trying to recognize their costume and what fits within their frame and shrink into their ego first rather than what is. And if you want to read the full thing, then it's all in the description below. And basically, this is basically what sums up the entire video. The scanner says infected, the field says immune. And because men cannot read the second layer, they destroy it before they could ever understand the thing that would save them. That is humanity. And yeah,